and said, "You've got to get in something safe like real estate."
Exactly. Lending.
I said, "No, I'm going to stick with this."
When I got out of the University of Nebraska, I applied to Harvard Business School. They told me I was to get interviewed in a place near Chicago. I got there, and he interviewed me for about 10 minutes. And he said, "Forget it. You're not going to Harvard."
They had the times when everything felt like it was going wrong and they just couldn't get anything right, and they thought to themselves, maybe enough is enough.
You know, one day you walk in and you think you're a genius. Oh, my positions are in my way. Look, and the next day you walk in and they're against you and you feel you're a dope. How could I have done what I did, and so on.
But the difference, the thing that really separated the greats from the goods, the greats from the not so greats, and the people that gave up at the first obstacle, the difference is that they were able to embrace the failures and learn. If anyone told you that this was going to be easy, they were just being kind to you. Nothing with such great rewards, nothing with such self-fulfillment, nothing with such great potential comes without a struggle, without passion, and without the need for pure dedication. So yes, it's going to keep being tough, but the blueprint has been laid out for you. Others have done what you're trying to do, and you can do it too. There will always be people telling you that you haven't got what it takes to succeed in this, that, or something else. But just make sure that those naysayers don't include you. Brush yourself off, embrace your failures, learn from your mistakes, and don't accept defeat. You've got this. Now let's get to work. Prepare yourself diligently for your day ahead, one small step. Do the same again tomorrow. Keep that routine going, another small step. The same again the day after and the day after that. Consistency, small steps. Take your time preparing your charts, dissecting the financial news, another small step, again and again. Do your analysis, open a trade. The trade wins, it's another step. Do your analysis, open a trade, the trade loses, it's still a step. Even when you lose or fail at something, or when you realize your plan just isn't working, these are still steps, it's still progress. But the thing is, the progress in these steps is practically invisible. We don't even realize what's happening each and every day. We sometimes get caught up wasting time, looking for something that will push us ahead quicker. But no, it's the same day after day. Another small step, and another small step, and another, until some months or years down the line, you take a look back at what you've done and realize that this series of small steps that you've taken have helped you climb a small mountain. Suddenly, the steps take on a new life for you. You realize each step is driving you closer to success. They have meaning, it's consistent, it's dependable, it's progress. It's time to conquer the next mountain, a bigger one this time. It's ambitious. You'll need to make a lot of progress this time, but now you're enjoying these small steps. You're even thinking to yourself every day, how can you fit in more small steps into this day? How can you make the most out of every step you take? It's just like lifting weights at the gym. You're not just going to wait for the reps that burn and push you, you're going to push yourself on every single rep, every single step, every trade, every prep. Every time you make a note in your journal and every time you assess a win or a loss, you're deliberately focusing on making each step count. But the question is, right now, are you willing to stay disciplined and focused, step after every repetitive step, step after every boring step? What are you going to do today to make that next step happen? How can you fit more steps into your day? How can you achieve more marginal gains? How are you going to conquer that mountain? Because at the end of the day, any distance you cover, any progress that you want to make, whether in trading or anything else in your life, is just going to be a series of small steps. So if you can look inside yourself and honestly say that you're committed enough to trading, that you're willing to make this journey happen, then there's really nothing else to say except go and make it happen.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Okay, let's be honest. Are you just going to be all talk, or are you willing to let your actions speak for you? People say talk is cheap. And in trading, this is definitely true. Words mean nothing. Actions mean everything. Are you going to be yet another person who tells themselves, this year I'm going to follow this strict routine and by the end of the year I'll be closer to my goals? But after just a few days of doing this, they begin to realize the routine is tedious, it's boring, it's difficult. They start cutting corners, they start looking for shortcuts. They knew at the start of the year that becoming a profitable trader took time and patience. But after just a few weeks of hard work, they're ready to throw in the towel. They want the end goal to come sooner, but they haven't put in the work to justify the end success. Have you ever seen a long distance runner going too fast, too early? Trying to rush way before they get anywhere near to the finishing line? Do you know what happens? They lose. Do you know what happens to new traders that rush before they're ready? They lose too. So, let's not be that person. Let's have some integrity and match our actions to our words. If we know trading takes time, let's treat it with that respect and take things slowly. Let's not get frustrated at a lack of big progress and instead appreciate the small bits of progress that accumulate and compound. Let's find the end
To our words.
1% gain in our skills, understanding and ability. Let's take on that attitude of a winner. When we look at the stories of success in trading and investing, they had to grind to get where they are now. It wasn't just smooth sailing all the time. Like any journey, you know your end destination. You know where you are right now, but the time or the route that you take to get there may vary. Just accept that and keep plowing along to your goal. Become a relentless machine and stop giving in to setbacks. Who are you to expect that anything should be handed to you on a plate? Fix that delusion and fix it right now. Today, I know there are plenty of people sitting there thinking about quitting their goal for this year. They expected it to be easier or quicker, and now they're looking for excuses and for easy ways out. Don't be that person. Change your attitude. If you say you're going to do something, do everything in your power to make it happen. Be strong and keep grinding on. I believe in you. Start believing in yourself as well. Muhammad Ali once said, "The fight is won or lost far away from witnesses, behind the lines, in the gym, and out there on the road, long before I dance under those lights." This, my friends, is the art of preparation. We all know you need to work to build your skills, to own your craft, to get at the level it takes to participate with success. But what about the big day itself? It takes 30 minutes for an Olympic sprint to warm up, just to compete for only 10 seconds. That's called having the discipline to succeed. Because if you just turn up, you'll be shown up. The more we prepare, the more we push ourselves into that winning position. Have you been missing confidence in your trading? Are you missing that flow state far too often? Well, it's all in the art of preparation. If you go in cold without getting yourself on track, you'll force your trades at work incorrectly. This is about diligence. No business succeeds without a plan and what needs to be done day after day. Trading is no different. This is nothing unique. Warm up your mind, prepare yourself mentally. Review previous trades, review previous days. How are the markets moving? What are you going to be doing? It's all about those seconds, minutes, hours before you jump in. Get yourself the advantage that you need to win. You can wait for the setups to come to you. You enter the markets with peace of mind. You know what's happening and what you're looking for. With preparation comes comfort, patience, contentment, confidence, achievement, consistent success. If you want to outperform the market and more importantly yourself, you have to outwork what you've done before. And to do that, you need to prepare. If you don't have confidence in your work, it means you haven't prepared enough. So how's your discipline looking today? Are you willing to sit down now before you even start trading and work at full concentration? That's the will to win, the desire to succeed, the art of preparation. So if you want this, let's grind it out and put in that work. You have one chance every day to progress that bit further. Don't waste it by being underprepared.
Trading isn't easy. You learn that lesson pretty quickly. But guess what? Success is a lonely road. Success in anything worth having is tough. The only difference with trading is that we spend too long being sold the dream. We focus on the dream rather than trying to understand the reality. So let's remind ourselves. Trading isn't something you're going to become profitable with overnight. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Ignore the snake oil salesman telling you of get-rich-quick, holy grail, press score, and profit systems. They don't exist. It's a false dawn. Sorry to burst your bubble, but I told you, we're focusing on the reality now. So what makes a great trader? Someone who has grit and determination. Someone who focuses on the long term and isn't constantly searching for short-term wins. Someone who knows what they want in life and isn't afraid to work for it. Someone who can endure the long, lonely hours, working on their own, sometimes without any tangible gain. Someone who can go to bed and even if they toss and turn all night worrying about their previous day's performance, can still get out of bed the next day with a hop in their step and get back to work. You see too many traders give up too quickly when the reality hits them. We can all come out of the blocks at full speed with all the enthusiasm and conviction in the world, but there's a reason the stats show only a minority of traders end up successful. Because once things get tough, people give up. As soon as it becomes obvious that it's not smooth sailing, that you can't just cruise to the finish line, people make all sorts of excuses about why trading isn't for them. It's a scam. It's gambling. It's only for institutional traders. You need too much money. Once again, who said it was going to be easy? Training to become a success in any profession takes years of hard work. Trading is no different. It's just more accessible. We're talking about a market that exchanges trillions of dollars daily. And if you're willing to work harder than 90% of traders, you can carve out your piece of that. Just carving out your own small section can lead to the most fulfilling experience of your working life. That's what this is all about. Starting from something small, insignificant, and turning a number into something tangible. The ability to treat yourself and those closest to you to a better lifestyle. No more financial pressure, more security, more certainty. But besides that, the feeling of knowing exactly what you're doing in a challenging role. To wake up in the morning and know you've got your finger on the pulse of the entire world, the global economy that keeps everything ebbing and flowing, and you're an integral part of all of that. A knowledgeable trader, an investor, and an entrepreneur. You're part of an important group of professionals that keep the world turning. Sounds extreme? Well, guess what? It's the facts. So why should trading be so easy? The end justifies the means. We need to work hard for it. So if you had a losing day, pick yourself up and remind yourself why you're in this. If things have been tough for a while, go back to the drawing board and figure out what you've done right or wrong. If you've had a good spell, stay humble and focus on consistency. Make sure you keep your eyes on the long term and not the short-term wins. After all, this is a marathon, not a sprint. But most of all, beyond anything else, don't lose your enthusiasm and don't give up. Your story starts here. Stay dedicated. This is just the beginning.
When I reflect on things that I've always wanted to achieve but haven't, I can spot a pattern. It's usually that I was avoiding some sort of discomfort, whether it's with things that I never bothered to start or things that I did start and then soon gave up on. It's usually the same story. You know, the reason for not achieving big, important things is usually not down to a lack of resources or a lack of time. More often, it's down to just not putting in the work that's needed or simply not getting started in the first place. It's always much easier to choose the path of least resistance and just stay in my comfort zone. Now, I'm going to be bold here and go out on a bit of a limb and guess that the same is true for you too. I mean, at the end of the day, we're both humans and this is the kind of thing we do. And let's be clear here, when I say comfort or discomfort, that doesn't necessarily mean it's like trying to deadlift 2 times your body weight in the gym and the physical strain of doing something like that. No, the discomfort isn't always because the thing is difficult or painful in the typical sense. For example, me learning Spanish or trying to, that isn't something that's physically painful. It might be painful to listen to me, but it's not something that's difficult to do, yet I'm still not fluent, despite first starting to learn it over 15 years ago and having spent 2 years living in Spain. Yeah, I know, I need to hang my head in shame about that. And learning to trade isn't painful either. Yes, it might be emotionally painful at times, but that's more to do with losses in trading itself rather than the process of learning. You don't have to push your body to its physical limit to learn about trend structures or to correct your risk management. So it might be that the process of learning something is actually easy, but it takes time and repetitions. Repetitions that are boring or tedious, where there are alternatives that are more exciting. So this presents some sort of discomfort, and this leads to that goal not being achieved. People get shiny object syndrome and move on to the next thing because there's less friction starting a new project or learning a new skill. The pain comes from needing to be consistent with your efforts. That takes mental strength. But think about this for a moment. Imagine what your life could be like if, instead of avoiding discomfort, you embraced a mindset where you actually enjoyed pain and work, a mindset where you didn't always want to feel cozy and comfortable, a mindset where you thrived in situations that left you feeling worn out at the end of the day. In fact, imagine you didn't avoid those situations, you actually looked for them so that you could challenge yourself. What could you achieve each day if that was how you operated? What would your life be like now if you'd already been doing that for years already? What things have you been avoiding for whatever reason that you would already have conquered and be enjoying the benefits of? You know, I see this playing out all the time with people learning to trade, even our members in our community. One of the most important ingredients for developing a new skill like trading is consistency. And consistency can be a bit of a grind a lot of the time. It can be boring, it can be tedious, it can be mentally draining. So this leads to most people learning in waves of effort and consistency. They start off with a huge amount of motivation. They get excited about the idea of being a profitable trader. And then as they spend more and more time out of their comfort zone working on the skill, the motivation starts to decline. They might be okay with it for a while, but as soon as they encounter some sort of obstacle or some other distraction comes up, they'll use it as an easy excuse to take their foot off the gas and sometimes even completely give up. But the thing is, an obstacle that you encounter when you're learning something is just a sign that there's something you need to grow to get past. There's something here that you're struggling with in your current state, so you need to figure out what you need to do or stop doing to get past that. Most obstacles in trading can be overcome with a combination of two things: the right approach and the right amount of effort. So if you're putting in the right amount of effort and it's not working, you need to change your approach. If you have the right approach but you're not getting past that obstacle, you need to put in more effort. But neither of those options are comfortable. So people avoid that discomfort, use it as an excuse, and the consistency stops. Then weeks, months, maybe even years later, they'll remember how much they wanted to be trading. They'll forget about the effort, the boredom, the pain. They'll focus on the pleasure of achieving the end goal until they hit that wall again. It's like this constant cycle of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Now, after a while, they might actually reflect on how long they've been learning for and wonder why they haven't made much progress. They'll see others who have been doing it for a much shorter amount of time and are now succeeding. They're lapping them, while they still seem like a beginner despite having spent all that time. It's frustrating, it's disappointing, and it's a huge waste of time because in the end, avoiding this discomfort in the short term leads to things taking much longer. It leads to longer term discomfort because suddenly you're going to feel like you've underachieved. Some people will even give up trading forever because now they look at their peers and they think that they're too far behind, that they've got so much to catch up on. It'll just be another excuse to avoid the work. They'll be soft and they'll blame everything else around them other than the fact that they didn't do the work. They didn't work on the things they needed to work on. They just wanted the easy route. They wanted things handed on a plate for them. They didn't want to do the difficult things. But you see, life is sort of like one big workout. If you go to the gym and you want to grow, you have to put your body under stress. When you stop doing this for some time, then you start to decline. Likewise, if you want to grow in other ways in life, the same principle applies. So rather than trying to escape from discomfort when building skills or trying to grow as a person, we need to be embracing it. We should be finding situations that stretch us and challenge us mentally and physically, situations where we're forced to dig deep and grow to overcome these new challenges. When we face those situations, to overcome them, we sometimes have to flip a switch in our mind. It's that moment where our mind takes over and says, yes, this is uncomfortable, but I'm going to find a way to get through it. Like when people are running a marathon and they hit the wall, but manage to complete the race anyway. Most people don't even know that they have this mental switch in the first place, because every time they come up against some resistance, every time there's an obstacle, they just give up. Whereas the people who push further and have to flip that switch, they will always know that that switch is there. And they'll not only figure out ways to switch it on at their will, but they'll look for different situations that will force them to. It starts to get addictive. If we always stop when we start hitting the uncomfortable part in something, we'll never grow and we'll never achieve these big goals. We need to understand that our goals will usually
This is World of Warcraft, but there's no classes because there's archetypes instead. An archetype is a fusion of 2 or more classes, like this Fire Lord, which is a fusion of Fire Mage and Shaman, or this Master of Shadows, which is a Warlock Rogue with a succubus. Pick one, then play the game. As you level, you'll unlock your archetype's spells and abilities and get strong. Adventure to level 60, being a total Chad badass. Once you hit 60, it's time to get creative. At max level, your character unlocks. Now you can unlearn spells and talents you don't want. Guess what that implies? It implies you can learn abilities you do want, and you can. Customize your champion with spells and skills.
Weathered boards, creaking slow, 2 rocking chairs, moving low. Gray clouds drift over home. Time stands still on that wooden swing. No words needed, just the breeze. Years of storms made them so strong. This peace is where they belong. Thunder rolls far away. Wedding band, soft and plain. Years of storms made them so strong. Them so strong. This peace is where they belong. Through the curtains, your hair on my pillow, just breathing slow, taking our time. Baby, we're Sunday morning easy. No place we gotta be, just you and me. Oh, Sunday morning easy. Light up. On the counter, 2 cups getting cold. Your favorite t-shirt dancing across the floor. Baby, we're Sunday morning easy. No place we gotta be, just you and me.